Perkins. I'm Alan Perkins' younger brother. Jim asked me this week if I would give a talk about Alan, maybe describe a little bit to you guys about his biography, particularly for those of you that didn't know him well. He's kind of out there on the timeline. He was an active in May of 1970. So his freshman year, he didn't pledge. It was his second semester of freshman year, became a pledge, and then eventually became active. And when Jim asked me to write something about my brother, or talk to you about my brother, I couldn't help but think about some of the choices that we've all made in life. Particularly the choices that we have made as people coming out of high school and into our early adulthood. The choices of whether or not to go to college, go to trade school, go to the military. If you went to college, what college you would go to. And if you went to college, what major you would major in. Would you join a fraternity or a sorority? And if you were a Pike, it was very important to ask the right girl to Founders Day, because soon or later, she may become your wife. And if it's Dream Girl, well then go on ahead and get those tuxedos reserved. So anyway, I just wanted to touch base on Alan, my brother, and some of the choices that he made during that crucial period of time. I think maybe you've read the biography on him out in the hallway and right here. And Alan's experience in college, I could almost say that the movies Revenge of the Nerds and Animal House scripted their theory or their script on his experience his freshman year in college. He graduated from Belton High School in 1969. And I would consider him the Belton Alpha, because there's been so many people from Belton that have come through here. How many people from Belton are through here right now?
You mean the trailer?
Hey, the Morton Tool Shed to you, bud.
Right. And my friend Michelle Obama says, when they go low, you go up. That's for you guys from Kabul. But during this time that he graduated from high school, our country was extremely volatile. We just had an assassination of a presidential candidate and a civil rights leader. They had a Democratic National Convention that almost was burnt down to the ground in Chicago. Every night on the network news, you would hear the body counts of soldiers killed in Vietnam or wounded, and then you would hear in response the enemy body count. And it was kind of a interesting time indeed. And the thing about it was that my brother was pretty meek and pretty mild young man. To picture him going off to war in Vietnam was unimaginable. And I think that it would have been, if he had gone, I really feel that he would have been a casualty over there. He just didn't fit the mold of being a soldier. So what Alan had as far as an opportunity was what they called a college deferment. And in that, if you went to college, you could defer going into the service until you graduated with a college degree. And so that was a no-brainer. Alan went to college. The only thing about it is that when Alan left for college, he left a girlfriend back in Dalton. And that was very difficult for him. I was a 14-year-old kid, and I was watching all this happening. And one day in October, I received a letter from my brother. And he wrote me and told me, he says, "Kirk, I am so lucky to have you as a younger brother." And when I got that letter, I knew something was wrong, because he and I were sibling rivalries from day one. So, come to find out, something was wrong. You know, he would come home every weekend to visit his girlfriend. Well, his girlfriend broke up with him. He didn't know a whole lot of people down here, and he was terribly homesick. And so by that first semester, his grade point average dropped down to a 1.0. And he was on academic probation. My parents were distraught. They didn't know what to think. They had a choice that they were going to make, and that was whether or not to bring him home or give him another shot at being a college student at Missouri State University. So it was shortly, well, Alan went back to college, and shortly thereafter, he told his family that he joined a fraternity. And my parents really didn't have any notion or any idea about what a fraternity life was all about, you know, and they accepted it, and I think the response was kind of mute. But a funny thing happened. He quit coming home. He stayed down here. Didn't see him anymore. And he was having fun. He spoke fondly of his new friends. And most importantly, after his second semester, his grade point average wound up being a 2.8, and it was enough to remove him from academic probation. And that was a big deal. And it was quite a relief for my family, particularly my parents, because they were praying for a miracle for him, and it just seemed as if that was the answer. And looking back on it, what impressed me was his friends that he developed a close friendship with guys such as Rick Herrera, Bruce Sassman, Doug Murray, Mike Christensen, Nick Russo, Lance Rubin, George Gritter. And in witnessing that transformation of how he blossomed as an individual, had a great influence on my decisions that I made in the future. I can tell you this, that there's not a day that goes by that I do not think about my brother. I just miss him terribly. And in his brief 43 years that he was here, he and I had made several similar decisions in life. One of them is to become a Pike here at Missouri State University, and also having a positive affirmation of John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Now on that day, when it's my turn for chapter eternal, I again will get to see Alan face to face. We'll probably get off on a conversation about the family that I left here on earth, and he'll probably hook me up with John Jackson, and we'll take a quick tour of the universe. But on that day, I'm going to ask him, Alan, what did you think about that memorial to you at the new Pike House on that Saturday in October of 2016? And knowing Alan like I do, his reply will go something like this. Oh man, you shouldn't have. It was beyond my expectations. I am truly humbled by it. On behalf of Alan, his family, my family, and myself, I want to thank you. Thank you all for this extraordinary opportunity for Alan's memorial.